Hey, get back over there. Something is on YouTube. I gotta find this on YouTube. All right, there it go. Oh, there it goes. Share. Hey, yo, we can definitely hear you on the stream, so I'm gonna need you to tighten up. Hey, yeah, we can definitely hear you on the stream, so I'm gonna need you to tighten up. You heard that? Gotta clear that dish. So it's gonna let me stream to Facebook, but not to not to Facebook. All right. Nah. Just you gonna be right there? Yeah. Just give me some signals if it. Put a stream up on your phone. Give me some signals, cause I got the lapel mic working. That's what the stream on here. The lapel mic. I'm gonna like to move this camera. Yeah, I'm gonna move this back to where it was. It's about right there. Yeah. About right there. Everybody bring a pen. All right, great. Okay. God for you. Give me a God. Trying to give Rod some time to get here. He did call me. Tell me he was coming. But he's 5 minutes better up. Did everybody get something to eat? Do y'all mind if we just move a little closer so that I can just want to be close to my folk and intimate, and it's gonna feel a lot better. It'll help me help y'all if y'all a little closer to me, because I'm gonna need some participation and some of this as well. For sure. Okay. Yeah, we can slide the yeah. Yes. I don't know. It just automatically connects from the last time I was here. Pretty sure of it. But it's Spectrum something. Yeah, I do. It's in the whip, but I go and grab it. One moment. I'll grab it. That way, I ain't got to use that mic, and the stream can just hit me with my lapel. Thought I did. Thought I had a pen, but I don't. Yeah, I think. Mm. Kendall's in the bathroom. In the bathroom. All right. We're gonna get going as soon as he come out. He was here on time. There you go. Boom. Bro, I do not have a pen. I thought I did, but I don't. Okay. All right. All right. Let's get it cracking. Thank you for pulling up, coming out. Y'all know who I am. For the most part, y'all know who I am. And the purpose for today, the missing piece. The reason for the season is Juneteenth. Of course, I sit on the Juneteenth committee, Juneteenth Statesman Committee. I have the pleasure of serving as the director or president of the Juneteenth Committee currently, chair of the board. And we've been growing a celebration to a week-long celebration. What was just one day has turned to grow into now 3 days of celebration. We try to commit to doing some type of educational event. The lady who usually spearheads that event, she's had some issues with her family, some sickness in her family, so she wasn't able to be as engaged this year. So this is just me taking over that educational piece of Juneteenth celebration and offering some form of value to my community. So thank y'all for seeing some value in me, trusting me enough to listen to a little bit of what I got to say. This is a 90-minute training, 2 45-minute sessions. You have a training handout, which you will go through these, and periodically throughout these slides, we'll have activities inside of the training handout. All right, I'll jump in. Why am I doing this? I'm doing this because after 5 years of running my nonprofit, I still get a lot of the same questions. A lot of people still hop in my DMs, and the questions are oftentimes surfaced. I see that you've won grants. How can I win grants? Or I need information on a nonprofit, and they don't really know what type of information they need, or they don't know what issue they're solving. So it's hard for me to direct them and give them, I guess, proper consulting when they haven't done some of the primary steps. Some of these steps that I feel like are they're primary, and if you do them early, it really sets you up later on to once you've done programming for 5 years and you have impact numbers for 5 years. When you walk into a business and you're looking for money or you're looking for partnerships as far as your companies, you have that track record of showing that you are impactful, but then you also have the governance backing to show them that when you give me this money, it'll be stewarded properly, as well as we have all our checks and balances as far as a nonprofit. You can pull our 990s, public information, and all that stuff. These are often things that people are missing. They are great at event planning, great at event execution, can bring the people out, can get the people together, can connect with vendors, can connect with partners. But when it's time to pay for an event, a big event, a $20,000 event, they get overwhelmed because they've done so much out of pocket. I've had the pleasure of getting to a point to where none of our projects or programs are out of pocket anymore. We budget yearly around the grants that we have secured and the partnerships that we've built. So we kind of know what we can do every year. And that's a lot of weight off of our shoulders. And it helps the work to continue. So I don't know why they keep doing this. All right. Yes. On Facebook? Yeah, no, I ain't on Facebook. I'm on YouTube because it won't go to Facebook for some odd reason. It's acting funny. So I'm on YouTube, on the Insomniacs page on YouTube. That's where I'm at. Insomniacs page on YouTube. This plays. Yeah, I got a little hot. Benny did turn the air off, but that's because it was a little cold, but then I just got hot. You good? All right, there we go. Fundamentals, man. Hop right into the fundamentals. Clarity and communication. Structure, organization, proof of credibility, and a simple financing plan. Oftentimes, it can be broken down into 4 segments. A lot of these slides you'll see are broken down into 4 or 3 because nonprofits, they often have only 4 or 3 people, sometimes 2 people, sometimes 1. And we don't know how to break that down into a business to where we know how to delegate different responsibilities and who's going to take care of what or who's going to manage what. All of these slides are meant to give you an idea of how you can do that. You can have someone in charge of communication. What's the language? What verbiage are you using? How are you sounding in your branding and in your marketing? You can have someone who's specifically around structured organization. When are you meeting? Who's doing the meeting notes? What's the matters of business that need to be handled? Who making sure that you have the bylaws and you have the budgets and everything ready so when the applications come up, you got all the files and all the stuff ready. You have someone also, proof of credibility. Proof of credibility is basically your website. Your website is important because your website is where most funders, anytime in grant season, and we start applying for grants, our website traffic goes up exponentially. And we just know that that's the funders going to legitimize our nonprofit to make sure we're doing what we say we're doing. So when they click on our website, they ought to see people performing. They ought to see people drawing, artists. They ought to see children because that's what we claim. That's what we serve. So that's their proof of credibility. Also, you have, when they scroll down your website, they're going to be looking for some specific things, data, numbers, stats. How many people have you served this year? How much money have you raised this year? What are your impact numbers and what are your outcomes? This legitimizes their money. It legitimizes their money because they want to say, we provide programs to blank number of at-risk youth. Your program helps them reach that blank number. It's not just going to be your program, but it would be if you serve 100 people this year through their funding, they're going to add that 100 to every other organization that says that they help young people. And they can say, we spent $12 million this year on after-school programs for young people. That's what that credibility comes in as far as the proof of credibility and why you need it. Last thing is a simple financial plan. And I say simple because it has to start simple. The bigger your programs get, the more partners you connect with, the more complicated your budgets gets, of course. But at least start to think, I call it backwards scaffolding. At least start to think from the finish line backwards. A perfect event or a perfect program, what does it look like? Once you're pulling out those variables of what it looked like at a dollar amount. Yes, you're included in that dollar amount. A lot of people ask me, do you get paid through nonprofits? Are you able to get any money from nonprofit? And I say, well, I'm not a superhero. Only superheroes work for free. That's the only people we expect to work for free. Now, we also expect nonprofits to do a whole bunch for a little, but you can't do nothing for free. Like, expertise costs money. Vending costs money. Partnering with people costs money. Instance. Can you see me now? All right, cool. For instance, this space is an example of that. Shout out to Essence on Broad. Essence on Broad is a partnership that we can leverage as a nonprofit. Okay, we leverage this partnership as a nonprofit. And I am doing this free event for leverage. Doing this free event for leverage to prove the concept. I prove the concept of the event that I can do training and I have a venue to do training. Once I've proven that concept, I begin to write grants. Then I go back to Maria, what is the cost? Because I can write that in this grant and it's no longer just a partnership. You looking out for me off of the strength that you like what we got going on. You support us. Now I've written you inside of my grant and it's a budget item for what we're doing for the community. But you have to have that proof of concept. That's why you start hearing that simple financial planning. It's cost, expenses. What is it going to take and how much is it going to cost us? Look at Amazon and get as much consulting as you can, but those numbers don't have to be exact numbers. They just need to show that you've done some pre-planning. Because a lot of grants, a lot of people apply for them, and you can tell when it's AI generated. And people fund narratives. They fund narratives and stories. Okay. Market analysis and insights. It's always important to evaluate competitors, regulations, and the market. This sounds like for-profit, but in the nonprofit space, you do not want to double dip in the issue that you're serving. Me and Capria went to we were invited to the Hearts Foundation's annual event, Hearts Foundation annual event. There was I forgot who she was, but she was on the board of a foundation that we were receiving money for. And her advice to us was to partner with other organizations locally, because what they see, a lot of funders are seeing, is a bunch of summer camps popping up, serving 20 kids, 15 kids, 10 kids, and they're all in the same county. So what these funders are thinking is, why don't they just come together, serve 200 kids, and you got 4 mentors. You also have, that's how they're starting to see it. So that's why we have to understand who our competitors are, because our competitors are actually collaborators in the nonprofit space. I work with Mario. Me and Mario did the camp. I had a camp at the Bentley Center 1 year. Mario had been there for like 4 years. I come in 1 year. My kids were being dropped off. Mario's students were being dropped off, but they were being dropped off to the same location for 2 different summer camps. So me and Mario, I sat down with Mario. I'm like, man, we have got to show the community and the city that Black men can work together, and that this is not a competition. This will easily look like a competition if we don't control the narrative. So that's what evaluate your competitors does. It helps you control the narrative, and it also helps you get more money because you collaborated with more people. Data utilization. That's probably the most frustrating thing for me, but it's one of the most important things, because oftentimes these big numbers, they are based on metrics. They have if it's a corporation and you're talking about a sponsorship, they've allotted a certain amount of their philanthropic dollars to serve a certain purpose. Okay, and then you have a region. A region is supposed to do research in that region about the issues in that region. So say it's Doosan Bobcat. Shout out Doosan. They support us. Doosan Bobcat. They have philanthropic goals every year. They have a strategic plan every year as well that calls out what they want to fund. Another example is Bank of America, and that's public information also. So these companies, what you do is you go on their website, you scroll down to the bottom. That's what most of the pertinent information is. Most of that page is really just sales. But if you get to the bottom, you get to the important stuff where you can actually find strategic plans. You can find the philanthropic foundations that's under the for-profit company, and you will see what they fund. You'll see if they're funding music. You'll see if they're funding entrepreneurship. You'll see if they're funding preservation. You'll see if they're funding economic development. That helps you tune your programming strategy to meet the funders' needs, so that they can say, we did fund this, and you say, well, we creating that. What you're trying to fund, we got that type of program. That's going to come out of your data, because you're going to have to service, you're going to have to canvas what's going on. Especially once you get to higher dollars, they're going to ask you, to confirm that there's an issue. We know that I do summer camps and I work with the youth. When I apply for the Foundation for the Carolinas, they ask me for data that proves that at-risk youth actually need this. You would think it's a no-brainer. You would think, like, have you ever been to States? So of course you know at-risk youth need programming, they need summer camps, they need mentorship. But they still want you to do a level of research to get some data to prove that. How do we do that if you're dealing with the school? You just got to think creatively. Oftentimes I'll reach out to the city, not the city of Statesville, but Iredell States for Schools. They'll give you data. If you reach out to Iredell States for Schools and ask, I'm writing a grant, I'm looking for data that will help support the need for this type of program. They'll get you to the right person and get you that data that helps you make that grant stronger. Customer intelligence. Now, again, that sounds like for-profit, and it can be in for-profit. Focus on evolving customer expectations and behavior patterns for more targeted solutions. But I have a question for the group. If I'm starting a nonprofit, who are my customers? If I'm in the nonprofit space, who would you think the customers are? The customers of a nonprofit. People you serve? Okay. You said everyone? Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. Mm-hmm. And you agree? That's what most of us say because we have that capacity to love and we're really in it for the work. We're really in it for the impact. So we believe that our customers are the people that we're serving and the community that we're engaging. But your customers in a nonprofit are your sponsors and your funders. Because if you compare it to a for-profit, your customer is somebody coming in here and spending money with you, right? And you making them happy. You're giving them something. They spend money with you. You give them something and they leave happy. They feeling good. That's what we oftentimes get mixed up. We oftentimes serve the people. We focus on who we serving, and that's great because you got to do good work. But in order to continue to have funds coming in, you have to think about your customers. Like my customer is the person who just wrote me a $10,000 check for me to do this program. Let me see what they're looking for, what they want. And oftentimes they can be unrestricted funds, but just you reaching out to these to these folk and letting them know we're interested in partnership. We have opportunities for your employees to volunteer. We have opportunities for you them to volunteer. That a lot of times that's enough to get them involved enough to where they say, you got it. But you still want to make sure you're serving them and you're thinking of them. Your donors, people who come and hand you $2. What data says is that if someone hands you $2 as a donation, they expect to receive $6 worth of feel good. That's why we donate. We donate to make sure we feeling good, like we are superheroes and we're saving the world and we're doing our part. So when they donate $2, your story got to be worth $6 to them. Your impact got to be worth $6 to them. So that's your client as well. We all have disgruntled customers who come in wanting way more than what they paid for, and that's every donor. Every single donor wants way more than what they paid for. So we got to keep that in mind. That even though you're giving me $1 as a donation, you still expect the $6 experience as if you paid the cover charge at a club. You're still expecting that. Opportunity forecasting. That goes into a little bit of what I said as far as identifying the areas of growth and the potential disruptions before they happen. Who's coming into the space that you're working in currently? Who's already doing summer camps? Who's already doing after school programs? Who's already doing mentorships? Who's already doing small business help? Is there a way that we can partner? Is there a way that we can connect? That doesn't make it seem like the city isn't collaborative. The city is more competitive than collaborative. Mm-hmm. They're going to have parameters. If it's a foundation, it'll likely be liberal, very liberal and free. If state money, it's very restricted. If it's federal money, it's very restricted. County money is a little more leeway, but you got to understand it's top down. County is donating money or granting money so that they can get their state numbers right. They can get the numbers to the state. The state is doing money so that they can get the numbers to the federal government. That's why that reporting gets stricter and stricter the higher you go. Usually that relationship through that application, they're going to tell you what reporting looks like. Foundations love to do site visits, and that's a great opportunity for you to show them your work and to have that conversation with them. Foundation for the Carolinas is a foundation that loves to do site visits. Anytime you apply for a grant, they say, can we come and see what you're doing? Those are great opportunities. Anytime we do that, we make sure a kid is there from the nonprofit or from the summer camp. Make sure a young adult is there that we serve at the Arts Council so that they can talk about what we do for them. And I ain't got to stand there and act like I'm the superhero, but they can actually talk about the organization and what the organization has done. You're more so trying to stay ahead of the curve, and you're not seeking grants from founders that do not fund what you're interested in. You're not even wasting your time with those applications. You've surveyed the city, the county, and the state, and you know, like we know, the United Way funds what we do. We know the Foundation for the Kiwanis funds what we do. We didn't write our grant last year, but the foundation came to me and was like, "What was your grant this year? We were looking forward to your grant." And I didn't apply thinking I was not prepared, but we've already built that relationship. So now they're expecting an application from us. Once you get in front of it, you know who to reach out to and who's funding who you serve. You'll also know like the specific. So once you start to, and there's a slide that gives you guys, and there's also a sheet that gives you that draws out the different platforms you can use to find grants. Well, the platform that I use to find grants. You will go in there and you will see it'll say Christian based. Anytime, and I'm gonna be honest, anytime I see Christian based, I know I can't apply because I know the artists that I support and represent, they get on that stage and do whatever they want. And I love that about it. That's why I have my organization. I don't want your money if you're gonna walk into my building and tell me, why are they jumping off the stage and using that vulgar language? When I know this is the only opportunity they can do it in a safe space and not be judged by the guy who gave them the opportunity. So I don't even go after those. And I see a lot of foundations, and if it say Christian-based or faith-based, I'll pitch it somewhere else or hand it off somewhere. I just know that we don't align with it. So there's no point in me wasting my time. That's more so what I mean by getting ahead of it and making sure that you're creating programs that attracts the type of funder that you want to partner with. We get a grant from Arts Council. We sit down with them every year with their calendar. So we ask them, what type of events do you want? We sit down with them, what dates work best as far as your overall calendar, and that type of partnership. I mean, you can call it what you like, but I know that they're happy. They have a Black organization, lead in hip hop, R&B, neo soul type stuff, because now they can say they do that without having the pressure of having to execute it. The Art Council now provides all types of music because they partnered with a Black nonprofit who provides hip hop, R&B, and soul. So now they've leveraged our brand as well. They grant us money, but they can leverage our brand, and we know that. That's understood. That right. And when we connected with them, we were solving an issue. They were getting a pot of money, and a portion of that money is delegated for Black and brown organizations. Until 2021, there wasn't an arts and cultural Black and brown organization in Iredell County. So up until that long, I think it was about 30% of the budget could not get spent. And it wasn't because they weren't trying to spend it. It was because we was not applying for the money. We didn't know. We didn't form. We didn't organize. Right. And the thing is, we come in, John, shout out to John. He helped me form my organization. We got some grant money, managed that money pretty well. We saw that snowball effect because their budget got increased. Their budget continues to get increased. So now they can get more money. The better we do, the more that they can say they do, so the more money they get, which ultimately trickles back down to us, which is a part of that. I've talked to Shabela about this. Mission, drafting, vision. These four pillars, these four pieces, puzzle pieces, so to speak, are things you can guarantee you will see in every single grant application. You can guarantee you will see something about your mission. What do you do and who do you serve? Your vision is who you imagine you are in the future. What are you trying to reach? What goal are you trying to reach? An example of a mission statement is my community or my organization serves at-risk youth through summer camps and in-classroom plug-ins mentorship. Our vision is that every little Black boy in Iredell County has someone, a sounding board to talk through his problems with. That's our vision. Can we get every single boy in Iredell County? Probably not, but that's the vision. That's the overall arcing goal. Value anchoring grounds every action in a shared set of organizational values that guide behavior and culture. We have Hypnotics, our Hypnotics summer camp. Hypnotics breaks down into an acronym. H stands for honorable, I stands for intelligent, P stands for purposeful. So the students who come into our summer camp, they're taught these values, but these values are also reiterated throughout our brand. They're all over the website, and that's a part of what identifies Hypnotics as a powerful or a anchoring valuable program, because we're actually telling them what values they're getting. Okay, and your strategic coherence is the parts of how you achieve that. And this is going to be a great segue. How do you achieve your goals? Our strategic coherence is basically our programming and not how we program, our programming design. We do summer camps, open mic nights. We do free studio sessions. We sponsor other events. We do album release parties for local artists and things like that. That is the strategy we're going towards helping these kids get what they need in the youth. Go to this next page and then we go on. Ooh. Before we do the 12-point fundability scorecard, if you go to your grant proposal checklist, that's the right one. The grant proposal checklist is the right one. Yep. See at the top it says organization name, project title. I want us to brainstorm really quick. We're gonna take about 5-10 minutes to do. 5-10 minutes to do this. Because the more you do this, the better you get at it. The more you write your problem statement, which is your mission statement, the more you write your organization, the more you write your goals and objectives, the less you have to think about it. It starts to just become second nature. So there's going to be like 3 opportunities for you to write the organization's name, the problem that you're solving, some goals that you want to reach, and a description. Don't worry about the funding amount requested. Do not worry about budget summary or evaluation plan. Right now, you're just thinking about what's the name? What is our name? What's the problem that we're solving? What are our goals? Mm-hmm. Take about 2 more minutes. I know it's tough right now, but we got a activity in the middle that's gonna help this get a lot smoother as far as how to just come up with stuff quickly. What are you observing? What are you doing? How are you doing it? Danya, your problem statement. You're forming an organization, a nonprofit. What problem are you solving? What's your problem statement?
So mine, I think, is I'm thinking different
Mm-hmm.
because I'm thinking of I don't have a nonprofit yet. I'm thinking
I'm already with you. I'm with you.
but still, I'm gonna say as far like my type of business is
Mhm.
One, two. I speak on both of them. I'm gonna speak on the insurance portion of it, providing an education to families on how to utilize and purchase the proper insurance that they need and how to use it for them as living benefits, and
Mhm.
also in that how to structure that plan for their family that's left behind.
It's actually a great way to spin any for-profit into a nonprofit arm is to ask yourself, what's preventing people from purchasing from me? If you have a for-profit, and reason why I'm doing this session now, I have a for-profit nonprofit consulting firm. And I was asking myself, what is keeping people from purchasing from me? And it was because my starter kit started in the middle for them. They hadn't done a lot of this stuff and didn't understand a lot of this stuff coming in. So they wasn't definitely finna hand me $150 an hour, $1,500, and they haven't, gotten to this point yet. So when you're starting to think, when you have a for-profit and you want to get and I always say every for-profit should have a nonprofit arm for when business is slow or for you helping, like, again, the people who can't come through the doors. That's a great way of framing it, is that if I'm selling insurance, what's a barrier that's keeping people from getting insurance? It's education. Education is a highly funded area in nonprofit space. It could also be price, premiums. That could also be something. So financial literacy is another thing that's heavily funded for the Black community. I want to help families become more financially literate and for more financially stable so that they can afford these premiums and they can afford these insurances. That's another way of kind of pivoting and creating a nonprofit arm. Why do we want to do that? Why do I think it's important? I was in here setting this stuff up. Benny comes in, me and Benny are both, we're gadget freaks. So every little machine I pull out, he like, what's that? What's that? What's that? So I'm explaining to him, well, this is our Rodecaster. He's like, oh, okay. Well, how much is that? It's $900. We didn't pay for that. Grant paid for that. This is our streaming box, the YOLO Live. Okay, that's really dope. What you use that for? We use that so that we can stream anywhere remotely. How much is that? $600. We didn't pay for it. A grant paid for it. We got cameras, $1,300 worth of cameras. A grant paid for it. When we do the shows and different things, grants pay for it. But who's on stage? Who's up here now? So whose brand is getting strengthened? Whose credibility is getting strengthened? My credibility is getting strengthened. My brand, my personal brand is getting strengthened because of my service in the community that's funded through foundation. So if you can figure out a way to get a nonprofit arm, you get grant money, corporate funds coming in, connecting it with you. They're connecting it with your brand. I could put Insomniac's logo right here and it would still connect, even though this is Civic Impact Architects, which is my consulting firm, right? It will still connect with you because at the end of the day, it's Tevin for a lot of people. And that's who really pushes your brand. 4 pillars, another way to break down your organization. Try as hard as you can to get a team so that you're not arguing with the same person over and over and over again, because me and Capri will be going at it because it's just us. It started out with like 7 of us, but as far as a consistent basis, it's just me and her. So it's always somebody. If I'm mad or frustrated, it gotta be your fault. If she mad or frustrated, it gotta be mine. So work as hard as you can to get a team, a odd number, preferably a odd number, so that when you vote, you can easily have a majority rules, okay? And you can also easily create a quorum. A quorum is how many people you need at that meeting to vote, okay? This is another way to break down this team and how people can come in and help you structure and help you create systems. Clear organizational structure. Clear organizational structure. Who does what and why? Who's strong here? Who's the person who's very articulate, attractive, and deserves to be on stage with the mic in their hand? Who's the person that's has extremely sharp attention to detail and should really be managing our monies and our books? Okay. Who's the person who's extremely creative and can find loopholes and they can find the softwares we need and they can integrate these softwares to where they're working seamlessly? Who are these people? And let me put them in that position. That's the organizational structure part. Compelling storytelling. Stories win money, not organizations. Stories win money, not organizations. The funder wants to be able to say, we paid for that change. We bought that change. You see that impact? Y'all see all them people down there at Juneteenth? Flo wants to be able to say, we got something to do with it. We're a title sponsor. We sponsor them every year. We have something to do with it. That's what that they want to say. Y'all see how Black people come downtown and they have economic synergy. They have 81 vendors downtown, 400 some odd people downtown. That's a great story because that's a story we're trying to push. So the fact that Denzo, all those sponsors are part of that story, that's what they're funding. They're not funding Juneteenth Statesville. They funding the story and the impact. The fact we got 81 vendors down here, Black people coming down here and they feel free, and that's what the city been sworn they needed anyway, right? That's what they're funding. Effective systems and management, and I got a key at the end of this that's gonna really put things up that makes this a lot easier. Effective systems and management. We get so caught up in the execution, which is beautiful. I mean, it's great. But this is about getting funded. It's about getting money. And in order to get money, you have got to have your systems in order, your customer relation management system, your Chrome system, your donor relations management system, your Salesforce, to where any grant, you can bring a grant from prospecting to awarded, and you have a system on how you're going to keep track of the reporting and things like that. You also have a website that makes it extremely easy for people to come on your website, get to where they want, get the information they want, and donate if they want. We had women's club call us about Hypnotix, and I'm kicking myself in the butt for it because I did our website, and I've always prided myself on doing our website with my chest poked out. She called my phone and was like, they were wanting to recommend us to the state chapter. They had donated money the past 2 years, and they wanted to recommend us to the state chapter because the state this year was funding arts and schools. And they're like, we know exactly who, so we want to recommend you. In order to recommend us to get a check from the state, they went on our website for the credibility in the story, and they went to find Hypnotix. They saw Arts Council, Juneteenth, downtown, young adults celebrating kids, but they did not, not kids, but they did not see enough of students. They did not see enough kids. So she called me and was like, don't you guys do a summer camp? I'm like, yeah, we do a summer camp. Don't you guys work with the schools? I'm like, yeah, we work with Swan Middle School. We work with Oakwood Middle School. We work with American Renaissance, all these different schools. It's like, well, I was on your website and I didn't see it. Now this is likely a 60-year-old lady. Look at my first friend, like, maybe you don't know how to navigate it, but that ain't her fault. It should be easy for her to get to. And we ought to know that Hypnotix is the program people want to fund, not Night Owls. Night Owls is what makes us feel rewarded. It makes me feel like I'm doing my part because I'm a rapper, I'm a producer. So when I bring other rappers, producers, and singers on stage, that fulfills me. But Hypnotix is what makes us seem like a real nonprofit that funders want to support. So when you click insomniacs.info, if you don't see Hypnotix quick, that's the lesson. That's the hard lesson I never have to learn again. That hard lesson, her calling me, we want to write you a check, but we can't find what we're paying for. We can't find the proof that you're actually doing what we're paying for. It'll never happen. I worked on the website that night. We stopped everything and worked on the website that night. So you want to make sure you got these systems because that's how they're making those decisions, especially when it gets higher than the foundation. They're just going to your website, they're looking at your numbers, looking at the pictures, looking at the videos to see, is this organization legit? That's going to come through your credibility signals. Your website will have credibility signals on your website. Your website is an effective system because you're going to also have opportunities for people to donate, fill out forms, and all that's going to be on your website as well. So these are pillars that if you get people to join you with what you're doing, these are things that you want to be thinking about delegating to other people so that you can take some of that weight off your shoulders. And they say delegation begets appreciation. When people start volunteering, if you don't soon give them something specific to do, they won't feel valuable. You got to be like, you're in charge of this. Even though you're volunteering, until you say that you're in charge of this, they don't really feel that empowered. They just feel like, they come. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay. 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 Great. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Mm. Right. Wow. Mm-hmm. And then even to the point that you made, you need systems so that you can quantify what she done. My first 2 events, I asked my band, I can't pay y'all, can't pay you guys. I'm really working to try to get this organization funded. We got to have a proof of concept. I got to show them that I can actually do a hip hop and R&B show here before they give me a check to do 4 of them here. So I need you guys to do this show for free. They all agreed to do it for free. But I still knew what that budget amount was. I still knew that event cost me this amount of money because my drummer is $150 for it. My keyboard player, who's also my MD, is $175 because he's a $25 premium because he does the set list and everything. My bass player is $125. Even though I ain't have to pay him, I still need to quantify what that is. Even if it's a volunteer coming and clicking, you're not paying that person. But if you were for a profit, you would pay that person. You would pay your doorman. You would pay your staff. So you need to figure out how to quantify the free help that you get so that even quantifying, we had 50 basketballs donated from the Charlotte Hornets. 50 basketballs donated that were deflated. So we were like, how can we quantify 50 basketballs? What's the worth of 50 basketballs? And I'm like, well, you can either quantify as worth or as a giveaway. So now, well, we can work with GSM, some type of partnership with GSM. Now it doesn't actually quantify it as a dollar amount, but it seems like it when you pull up to your basketball game with 50 basketballs. It's like how they get them 50 basketballs if they didn't have the money to get those 50 basketballs. So even though you have people come in and do what they call in-kind, those are in-kind services when they come in and help you out for free, come in and cater for free, come in and cook for free, or do the delivery services for free, or do the door for free. That's still a quantifiable and an item for your budget. So when you start writing grants, you know what it's going to cost to keep them. Because people don't do stuff for free forever. They do it for free until they burnt out. And then they just stop texting back. And you got to call some, you got to get another doorman. But if you can figure out a way to quantify, get it in the grant, and get it paid for, they'll stay a little longer. They'll stay a little longer if you can give them some cheese. Yeah, we had my 45-minute break. So this is a good part, man. We had the 45-minute break. And we're going to jump back to those first 2 slides. Because you said what you said, I think it's a great segue for why your website is extremely important and why the lack of one is potentially keeping you from securing the bigger dollars, like the 5,000s, the 10,000s, the 20,000s. They're going to the website to make sure you have those numbers. And you also write in that we don't always have the capacity or the know-how to do a lot of these things. but you're not. And this is another reason why you ought to do a nonprofit if you have a for-profit. Because check this out, man. Salesforce, there's a Salesforce grant. And this is what I mean, all but guaranteed. I have not applied for that grant for an organization and they didn't get it. Salesforce is your Chrome system. It is your customer relations management system. It is also, they have a nonprofit, Salesforce for nonprofits, which also gives you the donor relations, which is the system that you need to manage all of your grants, from prospecting to applied, letter of intent sent, awarded, granted, reporting. All you gotta do is apply for it, and that's $3,000 worth of software and management systems. So you get that software and management system, but then you also get a $3,000 budget item for your yearly operating expenses. So now I can go in and apply for a $3,000 matching grant, knowing that I've secured $3,000 worth of expenses, because nonprofits are supposed to come out at zero. So any expense that you have is an item. If it's a grant that oftentimes they send it, they'll give you access for free, and we'll take the access and not quantify how much it would have cost, because they're also giving you a budgeted item to put on your budget to help you match grants to get more money from other organizations, which is why that is crazy to me. And that ain't a lie. That's crazy to me, that Google will give you $20,000 a month in ads, but you got to have a website. You can drive $20,000 a month to your website for ads, with ads, through Google for free if it's a nonprofit. Now, I know your for-profit business can find a way to leverage $20,000 worth of ads that your nonprofit is getting. This YouTube here is because you also get YouTube Premium for free through this grant. So they're going to give you $20,000 a month to run through ads. Now, this comes with its own system in this grant, not the grant, but the management, where you got to manage your ads. And that's something that you will likely spend five hours a week doing. You're either going to spend 1 hour a day or 5 hours on Sunday trying to get it all together. Okay. But that's $20,000 worth of ads that, like a church, when I see that, I really think churches losing members. They don't understand how to do Facebook. They don't know how to work ads. They don't even know that they can get $20,000 worth of ads. And this is a month. So this totals to be what? $120,000 operating expense for the year in marketing. You already got $120,000 in marketing expenses, but it's just getting paid for through Google. Your Microsoft grant, that is $2,500 value, but what you actually get is 10 Microsoft Business Suite accounts. So you got your team of 4, you got 10 Microsoft Business Suite accounts. So everybody gets Microsoft Teams, Microsoft Office, Word, PowerPoint, Planner, Visio. They got so many different apps now that I was able to create a landing page. I got a landing page for Civic Impact Architects, which is the for-profit. I have a landing page that I created through my Microsoft account. So we leverage our Microsoft because you need back office systems. You need that legitimate email that has your nonprofit.org in it. You're going to get that from Microsoft. That's what you get that from Microsoft. You're going to need PowerPoints. You'll get that from Microsoft. You're going to need to be able to sign documents, do these different things that Microsoft allows you to do. The Business Suite plan is, the Business Suite plan is $264 a year for one member, for one user. $260 a year for one user. You get 10 of them. Yeah, that's how I came up with that. So these is how but then that's also a budgeted item on your budget for your yearly budget, your operating expenses for the year. We have to spend, we got to spend $2,500 every year for these 10 Microsoft accounts. The funder don't know that it's through the grant. We got to spend $3,000 every year just to keep our donor and client relationship management system active. That's a budgeted item that we have to have. The donors and your funders just don't know that it's being paid through Salesforce. We spend upward of $20,000 a month on Google Ads to make sure that our story is getting pushed out there. what small town company ain't trying to hop on your coattail if you tell them, yeah, we spending about $20,000 on ads for Google Ads every year. So if every month, so a partnership, you get your logo on our website, guarantee when someone Googles summer camp, my summer camp is the one that pops up first on Google because I spend $20,000 in ads so that mine is the first one that pops up in Google. That's what that's what those ads do. It also helps you with that click through. There's so many ways you can leverage the things you get for free for being a nonprofit, even if you are a for-profit, which is why I'm on this kick that, the NFL got a nonprofit, NBA got a nonprofit. United Way is a nonprofit. Boys and Girls Club is a nonprofit. You have these companies that got really big dollars, really big money, that's still they also have nonprofits. I worked for Enterprise for 8 months. That is a private company that made $34 billion last year. So you can't even invest in them. They ain't IPO. They private. It's a family company. It's a family company. The guy was in the Navy. That's why he named it Enterprise, because it was the ship that he was on when he was in the Navy. It was called the Enterprise. His in-laws, he married his wife and made her the head of the foundation. So now they have the Enterprise Gives Foundation, and they donate $11 million a year. His wife has employed her nephew, son, daughter, mother to manage the nonprofit. So she's getting a check, and they all getting a check because it costs money to manage a nonprofit. She's married to the guy who's running 30 foot. Like, oftentimes, and I'm gonna talk about us, we get in rooms and we be so caught up in conflicts of interest. Is it okay for us to do that? Can we do that? And I'm like, if only y'all knew what's customary or what everybody else is doing, y'all would not be worried about paying me the little $500 because I'm on the board. Like, if you really understand that Enterprise is donating $11 million and the family is determining who get it. So if the mama is determining, the mama is the CEO of the foundation, she's creating the parameters for who we giving the money to, right? And she's also got a hand in the funding goals on where we're going to give the money to, right? She could have the same influence on nonprofits, telling people to make nonprofits. I just come like, you, my daughter, come, hey, you start a nonprofit. Our funding goals this year is animals in need. Start a nonprofit for animals in need. Because we're giving money. That's how that's how they wash and clean. We wash and clean at the laundromat. They wash and clean in a nonprofit. We clean the money through the laundromat. They clean the money through the nonprofit because you can make a $20,000 donation and it's written off because they are a nonprofit. They're a 501c3, and we were donating to the cause, even though my son manages that cause and his son is the vendor that he partners with to run the pro. Y'all get like this. I get this. It sounds like it. It sounds like it ought to be. But it's not. It's not, because honestly, every nonprofit is public, and you can pull up anybody's 990s and see how they're spending their money and where they're spending their money. You can pull up Red Cross's 990s and see that they only spend about 30% of what we donate to the blood and the actual cause. You can see that. It's public information. We just still do it. We still just get to the Red Cross knowing that 70% of this is going to y'all staff operations. Like, we know that, but we still like, here go your dollar, because you can pull that up. Y'all can pull our 990s up. Any nonprofit, once you get to this level, it can be pulled. The NFL, if you wanted to, pull it out. Duke University is a nonprofit. If you want to, you can pull their 990s. See what percentage of their dollars get spent where. We got too many problems with our own lives to be concerned that much about it. So we get at $5 and feel like we saved the world. we don't even go and think, man. The kid ain't get but $1.50 of this. But yeah, I definitely want to get through this, because this piece to me is what really changed the trajectory of my nonprofit, because I did not have to pay for Salesforce. So I was able to jump in immediately and start managing grants and managing my relationships that I was building with these other organizations. I did not have to pay for Microsoft. So everybody who came into my organization, I was able to say, hey, if you come in, I can get you Microsoft Office for free. Just come in and serve my organization. The first 10 people who come in and serve my organization, sit on my board, I can get you Microsoft Office for free. I know you can use that for your own business. You also gonna get an email. That's your own email. I know you can use it. Like that's, I was leveraging that so that I could get my help. And that definitely, we still use it. My email is still the same Microsoft email. And here's another caveat to this Microsoft thing. You're gonna get the business emails, but then you also get 400 aliases of each email. So our admin email is admin@insomniacs.info. In Microsoft, you get 400 aliases, and the alias is basically, it shows up as a different name, but it sends the email to the same location. But streaming services read these as brand new accounts. So I'm on like admin 57 at insomniacs.info, and on my 57th month of Netflix. Because you're going to get a free month with your new email. When that month is up, when they tell you need to pay for your Netflix, just create an alias in your Microsoft account. Admin 1, admin 2, admin 3, all the way to 400. All the way to 400, you can create 400 aliases. And then just go and do another. So that's another way of just getting, if you have someone that's clever enough to do it every month, you get Netflix for free. You will get anything that gives you a free month or a free month's trial, you will get it for free if you just update the alias, that email that you're using. I only do it for like the streaming service because I can't remember for all the other things, but that's just another way to leverage. Yeah, then of course, we're streaming to YouTube right now. I have YouTube Premium going right now, and this is being streamed to YouTube right now. We have that capability. I would definitely go in and create that budget item, but it's free through the grant. We got that free through the grant. So even when we go in and I want to watch, we're showing Crooklyn. We're showing Crooklyn at the Arts Council Friday. I'm sorry. We're showing Crooklyn Friday. You go on YouTube, you usually have to pay for it. We're a nonprofit. We got our YouTube Premium for free. So now we can show the movie for free, long as we don't charge nobody. So it's just off of the strength of you being a nonprofit, you're going to leverage in a way to where you immediately step in front of a lot of for-profit companies that's still paying for everything out of pocket. It's easy. I'm just on a different level than y'all, because I start talking about my Microsoft account, Salesforce, Google Ads, YouTube. They're like, how are you affording all that? I'm like, are we not? Yes, that's the point. We're not. So but I'm still leveraging it. We're still leveraging it for all the stuff we do. So even Hotcom Frenzy, which is a for-profit publishing company that Capria is interested in creating, the systems that we use to create that and solidify it is going to go through Salesforce, Microsoft, and Google. And then these are big companies that we give our money to in different ways. They're not going nowhere, which is why they're giving away I'm thinking Google can afford to give away $20,000 a month to companies off of the strength of donation. Then I want to invest in Google. I'm gonna put some more money in Google, because that was very eye-opening to me. But what's even crazy is the ease, how when I say it's easy, you get your nonprofit, you go on there, you apply. All they do is confirm you're a nonprofit. You have your EIN and your website. You're gonna get a hit to your website. They're gonna look at your website, make sure that you are who you say you are, and you're gonna get it. I haven't found any barriers with any three of those. That's why I got them up there at the big three for me, because I ain't gonna see no barriers. I always get the Salesforce. I always get Microsoft. I always get Google Ads. All you have to do is apply for them, and they're gonna give to you. That's that. Great ways to leverage it. This next activity, for weed. It's probably my favorite piece. A lot of people talk about my articulation. I read a lot of books. I read a lot of sales books about being articulate, being short, concise, and sweet. These are things I think, especially as Black people in this space, we need to hone in and definitely polish when we think about our companies. We do a lot of great work, but we don't think enough about how to sell it to the person with the wallet, with the fat wallet. And this is what I've learned. You're gonna have 3 opportunities to sell your organization to somebody. And you need to kind of have what you're gonna say written out and ready. You're gonna tailor it a little bit to the person you're talking to. So I'm gonna speak to a young Black girl about my organization a little different than an older white lady, but I'm still gonna hit the same points. I may use different verbiage, but I'm at the same points. So these 3 opportunities you'll get to promote your organization, talk about your organization, or sell it is gonna be your elevator pitch. You got about 60 seconds with somebody. You walking somewhere, you just finished up a meeting, y'all walk into the next room, you only got like 60 seconds, or you're actually in the elevator and they ask you, yo, so what you do? And you got about 60 seconds till you get to the next floor to wow them with your organization and have them say, oh, wow, well, give me some more information about that. That's what your 60-second elevator pitch is. What can I say about my organization in 60 seconds that's going to make someone say, oh, wow, that's great. I would love more information about that. Okay. You also have your 3-minute pitch. Your 3-minute pitch is usually a situation that you've set up intentionally. Whether it's you went to the party intentionally, and you're sitting down at the bar with somebody talking for 3 minutes or longer, or you've actually reached out to somebody for a coffee or a lunch date or something like that, and you know you really got about 3 minutes before their mind goes to what they got to do next. Okay, so you get your food and you're like, okay, if I don't get him completely tied into me within 3 minutes, he's gonna be thinking about the 12 o'clock he got. That's another opportunity you have to pitch your organization. And then the last one I call the qualifier pitch. And that is when you worked with somebody or you've been in the space and you're trying to qualify them as a sponsor, a donor, a client, or a partner. So we have people that's around us, our network, and we don't know where to put them. They always come around. I mean, I just really like what you're doing. I like what I like what you're doing, but we don't know if they want to spend money, if they like it because we're serving them, or if they just like us. But the qualifier pitch is a way to dial in on who are you potentially in terms of the organization. Are you a potential donor that's going to give me $5, $10 every event just to come and hang out and say that you're saving the world? Are you a potential sponsor who could potentially get me connected with bigger dollars or bigger access to venues and things like that? Or are you a client, somebody that I need to get your information so that I can make sure that we're serving you and I give you an opportunity to get on stage, or I get you signed up for the summer camp, or I get your kids signed up for the summer. I'm speaking for my organization. But these 3 pitches, if you can lock these 3 pitches in, you're going to feel extremely empowered in a way to where you don't get flustered. You don't get flustered by the time or the situation. Like you don't get flustered when if I see Doug Hendricks walking down the street and I know I got about 60 seconds with Doug. If I got something going on in my mind, I got 60 seconds because he the mayor, he on his way somewhere. I can walk to Doug with a lot more confidence because I know my points that I'm gonna hit in my 60 seconds. But then also, I was walking past Doug's house and Doug invited us onto his porch for a beer. Now I'm like, now I can do my coffee pitch. I did my elevator pitch at first, but now I get an opportunity to really dive in and get some commitment from you to really gauge, where I can put you. His wife was there, friends were there, people I really didn't know, but they seemed interested in me because Doug knew me and Doug took well to me. So they like, okay, well, who is this guy? That's an opportunity for me to do the qualifier. Ask them questions. There's nothing more interesting than somebody who seems interested in you. So if you just start asking somebody questions, they're gonna remember you. But what you're really asking them is qualifying questions to see, are you a potential donor, sponsor, or do your kids need the services that we provide? If you have those three things in the tuck, you position yourself to better sell your company. Yeah.
With those questions, you see the discovery question. So when you meet that person and they're there, you need to have, I already have some questions for them. So that they were just talking, what kinds of questions? Do they have kids, but they don't have kids? So what am I asking them to see, how they can buy what they're already interested in, but like you said, that you want to know what exactly. So what kinds of questions do you?
I would ask them why. If they come to me and they're like, man, this was a great show, I enjoyed it. What did you like about it? I really like the fact that y'all did R&B, and there's not a lot of places for me to do R&B. There's not a lot of places for me to come and hear R&B. He's being qualified as someone who's coming to these events to likely spend $10, $20. Maybe he gets a drink because he loves music or something like that. Someone else comes and they say, man, this is really dope. This is really great. Well, thank you, man. We work really hard. What you like about it? Specifically, what you like about it? Well, I'm an artist myself, and I ain't never had an opportunity to perform. Qualified. Boom. Well, we da-da-da-da. Okay. Man, this is really dope. This is really great. This is really great. And I asked, well, what'd you like about it? Wow, look at all these people here, and it's so diverse. Sponsor. That's what they want in the fund. They got a lot of people, and it's diverse. If we put our money and our name on this, we look good as a company. So that's how if you just ask a lot of times, well, what do you like about it? Or why did you say that? Or can you just be more specific about what you liked about my organization? They'll give you some leading questions to actually dive into what it is that they want. So like a guy, he comes and says, he's young, and then also use your deductive reasoning skills like Sherlock Holmes. When a young guy with jeans on that's ripped, a jersey with holes in it, a hat with the fur, I see that's an artist. It's like I'm already qualifying him when he walks in the door. Like, you're likely coming here because you've heard about what we do for people like you. Okay. If someone walks in and this is a hip hop concert and he has a corporate suit on, this is not the attire that you wear at a hip hop concert, right? Or he has khakis and a polo shirt. It's not really so I'm moving him. He's not one of our clients. He's not somebody that he's going to get on stage. Now, he might be. I've been blown away and had a guy who come in and wants to get on stage and play the guitar. But it's just best that you have a plan going in so you can start to qualify these people. Sometimes they blow you away and you end up having situations where your donor is a young kid, a young guy. Like, Jordan's on my board donating money. Well, we donated money to First Baptist Church, like $500 First Baptist Church. So you have opportunity, you will have situations like that. But I think if you start to qualify them, you feel more empowered in the way you talk to them and how you navigate and where you lead them and you just don't feel like you're wasting your networking energy. It's like you've been at this event, you've talked to 27 people and got 8 cards, and you go back home and you roll all these cards out, but it's like, who is that and why did I take their card? Why do I have this person's card? Did I qualify them as a sponsor? Do I need to send them a sponsorship prospectus? Do I need to get them involved in the newsletter so they know what we got going on? Do I need to send them a application for the program that we're doing that they'd be a great fit for? That's just gonna help you on that back end. These next 10 minutes, and this is the very last thing, man, we done. We're gonna work through these. We're gonna have a coffee date. We're just gonna hang out, sit down, we're gonna drink water, and we're gonna talk like we're having a coffee lunch or a lunch. And we're gonna all do our 3-minute pitch. Okay, I'm gonna give you some think time and some time to really think about it. Okay, and to sit down and say what I want them to. Okay, but we all let's pretend like We have not qualified anybody as anything. I could be a millionaire. I could also be a broke artist who's just looking for an opportunity to perform on stage, right? We're going to work a little bit. We're going to all do our 3 minutes. I'm going to give you time to think and deliberate on what you want and how you want to do it. I got a resource. You're not going to know what to do. You're not going to know what to do. I know the anxiety is building. That's great. Because there's a resource. Matter of fact, if you look, so I don't think I'm lying. Hold on. It should be on the resources page. Let me see if it's there. Yes, boom. If you look at the resources page, it says recommended readings. Pitch Anything by Oren Klaff. If you read that audio book or you read the full book, he tells you everything you need to know about your 60-second pitch and your 3-minute pitch. So we're just going to hop in. We're going to throw our feet in the fire this time. But we are going to definitely go back and read the resource so we can make it strong. Give us about 2 minutes of think time. I'm going to hop on this stream, see what they're talking about. Oh, that's Kathy. What up, Miss Kathy? Kathy Walker. That's yeah. You're right with her the long way. Hopped in on the stream. That's 33 years of Netflix. That's what she your alias will get you 33 years of Netflix. Yeah. We pay that 15. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. No, you pay for no. This is the free. It's gonna have, you can have access to this. This is me again trying to think about your situation. I met with a pastor, a lot of the young community leaders here as well. I met with them. This is me thinking, what do they need to take the first step into? This is the conversation me and you had before we even, like the first 2 conversations I was talking about, talking about this. Now, we didn't really go into the pitches, the qualifiers and things like that, but we work together. When I'm working with you closely, if you're a client, we developing these things together, and we're using the verbiage, and we're making sure that your website copy sounds like you. If you get on my website, it sounds like me. If you get on Facebook and you get on Instagram, we got the Instagram sounding like Tevin's typing all the Instagram posts so that your voice is cohesive, confident, witty, a little edgy. Every AI that I get, I train it to be confident, witty, a little edgy, because that's who I am. And if you're gonna make a post or copy for me, then
So what I'm asking is, it's not that, but what I'm giving you is that package what, not this, is it more than this right here?
Oh, it's a lot more than this.
Okay.
Yeah. Because you actually get stuff done for you. I'm let you. This is what you. This is some game. This is some game. You give. Let's say you give the how, the what, and the why for free. Right. You get a how, the what, and the why for free. You might want to make people pay for the why. You definitely want to make people pay for the when to do it. Because the when is actually what decides if they're going to do it or not. Because the why and the how is like, lets them know if it's possible. But the when lets them know if they're going to actually do it. So if I I gave you the checklist of all that stuff that we needed to get done, and we had 4 months to do it. That is like, okay, I need help. All of this stuff done, I could tell you how to do it. And in some of those conversations, I told you, you go to irs.gov website, file this, do this, do this. You can tell people that. But when you tell them, and it needs to be done by this date, and we're trying to get this completed within this time frame, that's when they're like, okay, I ain't got no money, I got no time, I got kids. It sounds beautiful until you put a date on it. So I say you can give away half for free, you can give away wild for free, but the win, you got to make people pay for the win. So what we do is the win. That's what the scaffolding is in the actual 4-week plan for the first segment of things. And the next 4 weeks, we're working on this. Next 4 weeks, we're working on this. That's basically the consulting, me coming in and partnering with you and doing something other than just laying it out for you and saying, all right, I got you some resources. Like this is, and I'm going to be honest, I was making people pay for this. But to create value, this is something you get for free. I even have an ebook that you can get for free that spells out everything. And that ebook, and then even this training, is a lead magnet for your paying customers. Right. So you're here, I qualify myself, I'm credible in this space. Now you're like, man, that guy actually know what he's talking about. He had resources, he had this, he even got a website. Let's just call him. And he said he was gonna give us a free 20-minute discovery session after for everybody who came. I'm gonna just use my free 20-minute discovery session to see what's up. You call me 20-minute discovery session. We do what we did in our 30-minute discovery session. And then at that point, you decide, this is work I want to do on my own, or man, this guy, I want to work with this guy. Let me just get this $250 to get this stuff done. Right. And that's most people once they get the landscape. Because we want to be impactful. We want to impact the people that we're trying to serve. You start to see this mountain of obstacles you're going to have to reach to get a $5,000 check that's going to pay for a quarter of the event you're trying to do. It's real easy to get discouraged, which is why we need people to come in and create those systems, show us those systems, and then actually like even encourage us that it's possible, you can do it, but then also how to leverage it. You leverage it this way. You go and apply for those 3 grants up front immediately. Get that money in the form of back office, then start looking for other grants, knowing that I got the matching money. And then even if I get it and I have to hire 5 people, I can hire them and give them email addresses. I can hire them and do a Teams meeting that I ain't got to pay for. That's most people, when they see that landscape, they need, I couldn't do it without Capria. I get free consulting from Capria because I couldn't do it without Capria. Capria is the attention to detail. If a check need to be wrote or a report need to be sent back, an email need to be sent, that's her. She's also the manager. So she do a whole lot. So when it's a program and it's like, we got to get all of this stuff done. We do a concert. We catering. We got a vendor there, 5 artists we working with, sound man, rehearsals. She's managing all of that. She's doing the texting out, the texting back. I'll send people to her. I'm the visionary. I look for the chief. So even I can't do it alone. And oftentimes when you see that landscape, you just realize, man, damn, nonprofit, it's tough. It's really difficult to do on your own. And that's the truth, which is why you're not supposed to do it on your own. You're supposed to have a board.
I feel like the first one was more, organized. People there at the stations, the food, I let people donate everything, all that was there. But this one here is a little bit like sort of embarrassed a little bit.
Okay.
I got some stuff that's like, and they even said that for myself. Doing a lot of this by myself, I see where, for one, I didn't plan.
You become ineffective.
I should have sat down and made sure that I had all my ducks really in a row. Everything was at the table, ready to go. Make sure everything was in the car, ready to go. But
I think you're missing the mark on expecting that from you.
Well, sometimes I feel like I put too much.
Because Now, somebody can do it, but to expect that from yourself, to have all your ducks in a row, I understand why we say those things, but that's also why we have accountability partners. That's why we have partners. That's why we have teams, is because I trust you to remember the thing that I forgot. So at the end of the night, if the event don't go the way we planned it to go, me and Capri are like, if I forgot it, you forgot it. If you forgot it, I forgot it, because this is a team thing. We should be helping each other out. If you didn't cross the T, then I need to bring my pen and make sure the T was crossed, or at least tell you, hey, you forgot to cross that T. But when you being by yourself, it's just really extremely hard to do. For sure.
That's what we said, August and September, come back together and let's talk about, and it's making sure that, and I understand what you're saying, that people want to pay doing things too as well. You know, I know there's people that they love helping and giving, but I also see too people that need time
Mm-hmm.
to do it and
Mm-hmm.
do. But if those people can't, you know, like you say, get exposed for that till
Mm-hmm.
funding really starts coming in, and I guess I was gonna ask you like, where am I looking for those grants at?
Boom. Yes.
So that's another thing. I don't know exactly where.
Now, this is the Holy Grail for real. Now, this is what some folk, now I will be honest, some folk pay for this, but I gave this for free because I knew who's coming. Okay. But some folk actually do pay for this. But if you go back to your resources list, and you see tools and platforms. Tools and platforms. Instrumental is a grant matching database. It does cost, but they have a ton of grants that run every year: foundation, federal, state, and civic. Okay, I have not used Instrumental, but I've read reviews on them. It's just a little too pricey for me, but the reviews are good. I have used GrantStation. I've used GrantStation, and GrantStation usually gives you a year off. You pay for 2 years, and they'll give you a year for free if it's your first time signing on. GrantStation is great because it allows you to also manage the grant prospecting inside the database. In the databases, you go in, you will pick your country, pick your state, what they're funding, and it'll populate a whole bunch of grants for you to scroll through. You click on the grant or the founder of the organization, read a little bit about what they fund, who they are, how long they've been going, what areas they fund. If they fund in your area, I would advise clicking another time to actually get into that website so that you can start seeing their verbiage. You're looking for this. What I'm always looking for is faith-based. Those are the words I'm always looking for, because I know faith-based is not funding people who say what they say, what my kids say on stage. GrantStation, I use GrantStation. I've used GrantStation the first 4 years. First 4 years of our organization, I used GrantStation. So we ran it up like $250,000 in 4 years. Every one of them grants I found on GrantStation. Every one of them grants I found on GrantStation. We're using GrantScape now. We're using GrantScape now, and I switched over to GrantScape because GrantScape gives you the calendar. While you're researching, you can click save. It'll automatically save it to a calendar on the due date, and it'll send you reminders that you have a grant coming up. Make sure that you apply for it. That was worth every dollar that I paid for, because I always forget. And that was something I was asking Capri to do. Can you put them on the calendar and then give me a week worth of grace so that GrantStation does that for you. Grantable is grant management. Grantable is like grant management, to where it's AI. You go in and you talk about your organization. You tell it about your organization, and you go in and you upload an application or a website to the foundation that you're applying for. It uses AI to scrub your website and the copy that you've given it about your organization to give you ideas about how to apply for that grant, or to tell you feedback as far as if you're a good match for that grant. That is Grantable. Grantable also works like GrantStation in that it allows you to manage your grant process, your grant writing process. So if you always use the same mission, you can put your mission in there, and you can tell it, give me 3 different forms of this mission statement. One for a sponsor, one for a donor, and one for a grantor. One that's 250 words, one that's 500 words, and one that's 100 words. That's because you went and you applied for enough grants to where you know that's what they're asking for, and those are the limits. That's what Grantable does. That's why I like Grantable. Canva for nonprofits. Again, that's free marketing and free digital stuff. This is a web. This is Canva. This is what this is. Oh, I got to click on it likely. Yeah, so this is Canva. We in Canva. There's a Canva for nonprofits where you get a lot of the premium features for free because you're a nonprofit. All you have to do is just prove that you're a nonprofit. That's why you have a Canva for nonprofits. So anytime we do and then you see that's Tevin Carr and Capri Harris, one of the people in the that consistently working. Hold on. Well, anyway. QuickBooks for nonprofit. That's your budgeting. And then Centra AI. So what I do, I'll tell you my process. What I did years ago. The process is a little different now because we know how to target and where to go. It's not more of a surveying or trying to find. It's more of a do they align with us or not. But what I would do, choose GrantStation or GrantScape. That's gonna cost you about $179 a year. Choose GrantStation or GrantScape. Jump in. It's gonna allow you to categorize your funding. What are you trying to fund? Is it the youth development? Is it for states, counties? But we can. Is it for states, regional, what have you? Once you scrub through those, what I would do is I find some grants. Start local, county first, city first, then go state, and then go federal. Why? Because it's going to be, you don't want $5,000 from the federal government because they're going to treat it like it's 50. They're going to still restrict it like it was $50,000. You don't want $5,000 from the state because they're still going to restrict it like it was $50,000 from the state. You're going to walk, you're going to do steps, you're going to likely better off getting your $5,000 from the foundation because it's unrestricted funds. They'll likely just give it to you off of the strength of your storytelling. Centra AI management. Centra is crazy. Centra is crazy. This is just a gem. Centra gives you 9 AI agents that manage 9 different parts of your business. And I'm gonna see if it does it. Oh, something gonna happen to my thing. There we go. All right, there we go. Here you go. This little thing right here, this little guy right here, AI helpers. A lot of people be wondering how I be getting stuff done, how I be getting done, and I don't be doing none of it. I don't really be doing it. I'm a tech freak and I'm a gadget guy, so I'm always researching what's gonna help me be a little more productive. If I click this drop down box. So look, you got Convo Empowerment because I got one for So what this does is it gives you, let me make it bigger so we can see it. Yeah, I was right, 9. Well, no, 12. A bunch of AI agents that manage the back office stuff for you. All you have to do is go in here and talk to them, give them access to it, and let them do it. Like if I let me go to Insomniacs. I go to Insomniacs. They even talk to each other. They talk to each other. So when I'm in Insomniacs, I'm thinking about a program. I go in here to Buddy, business development, and I say, I have an idea. Can you help me create the outline or a 60-day plan to make sure that I can get this project done in 60 days? That's what my business manager is going to help me do. Every event we do, I upload and I give it to Soshi, and I tell her, this is my training that I did at Essence on Broad. Can you schedule this out, create clips, and schedule this out for the next month? Soshi's gonna do that. That's what she's gonna do. And then I'm gonna come here to Penn, and I'm gonna tell Penn, I'm applying for a grant. Go look at my website, scrub the copy, and help me answer these grant questions. Because I've talked to these guys enough to where they know all about my organization. They know how I talk and everything. So now I can go in and see I got tons. Let's find one. Yeah, okay. Boom. I wrote a grant because CATS does not have an arts and entertainment career pathway at CATS, but they have a $3 million podcast and videography facility that's not being used. I talked to Larry Rogers about creating that career pathway. I found a grant that would pay me to create that career pathway. And I came in and I talked to Buddy first, told Buddy what I wanted to do. He created the plan, and I came in here and talked to Penn. And I told Penn, if you can see my very first sentence in my prompt, review the art and entertainment career pathway strategy that I've developed with Buddy. That's the business development guy. And then I asked him, we're going to apply to the arts and then the blank grant to fund the research and preliminary work I need to complete to begin the full pilot. Don't draft anything yet. First confirm that you fully understand what I'm asking you. And he tells me everything about what me and Buddy talked about as far as our arts and entertainment career pathway. And I'm like, yeah, that's great, cool. Then I uploaded my syllabus because I had already created a syllabus that I got confirmed through Iredell State Schools. I met with the fine arts coordinator to look at my syllabus so that I knew that it aligned with the standards. Uploaded my syllabus. Yep, I understand. Now he's explaining my stuff to me. What this does though, also, when you're reading this, it strengthens your own storytelling. You're getting it from AI, but you're gonna be like, wow, yeah, you're right. Now that you say it like that, that's exactly what I'm doing. And it's gonna start giving you words to use, phrases to use that helps you make your writing even better. So yeah, that's what Centra does, man. I can go on and on about Centra. Centra is gonna do every part of your business. If you wanted to scrub your email and look at your email and email people back, it'll do that. If you wanted to go through your email and do replies, it'll reply as well. All right. Last thing, Zeffy. Zeffy is a way to get donations with no commission fees. The only caveat to Zeffy is that it pays out once a month. But usually when you're using donor relations and you're using donor platforms, they're going to take a 1% fee or a 3.5% fee or something like that if you're swiping a card to donate, using your card to donate online. Zeffy is a platform that if somebody donates $300 online, you get $300. Okay? That's why I put that there. So that's also a great resource just to make sure that you're getting everything you got coming in. You also see more grant databases on the left. JCPC, always looking at JCPC, grants.gov, Candid, that's okay. But state humanities and arts councils or councils are a great place. They always giving out money and grants as well. These last 5 minutes, questions. My computer died. I'm gonna act funny. Uh-huh. Tell them it's on YouTube. Okay. Okay, for sure. Okay. Okay. Yep. I will do. Yeah, it's just gonna act crazy because Centra takes up a lot of CPU. Questions. We have 4 minutes left. Questions, comments, concerns. Now, what you also have in your packet is is a action plan, 60-day action plan that scaffolds all this. It gets you going within the next 60 days. Everybody here will also have access to that PowerPoint that I just presented. I will send it to you directly so that you can go through it yourself. That's the action plan worksheet. This right here is another thing that people pay for, but I knew who was coming. This is my holy grail. I do not write a grant without filling this out. I actually have this in the form electronically on my OneNote, so that anytime I have an idea, I go through this, because if you get this done, this project grant model canvas, you're prepared to apply for all the grants that I've applied for, whether it's federal, state, or local. They're asking a variation of these questions: your goals, the response, evaluation, revenue matching, how you gonna match the money, how you gonna make money back, the unique needs, what's so special about your nonprofit or your problem in your city, to why do states who need the money and not another city, issues and challenges, the activities, what are you actually gonna be doing to address it, how much is it gonna cost, who's participating, and that's the people you're serving and the people you're employing or volunteers. Your outcomes is that quantifying metrics that you want to say you did at the end of it. We gave out 200 book bags. It's an outcome. Timeline: how long it's going to take you, and the milestones, the target audience, and why you. We do this, and we do it bullet points. We just do like maybe 3 bullet points to answer each question. But once we do this, I know we're ready to start applying for grants, because I can go in, find a grant, and I feel empowered that I at least thought about the project enough to where I know where the money would go if I got the money. So that's a holy grail piece that I would definitely save this page and work on that page, because I actually I'm giving y'all something that I do with inside of our organization with every project that we do. Even Capria, I employ Capria when she comes to me with ideas. I say, well, have you done a grant canvas for it? Because if you do a grant canvas for it, you don't have to pitch it to me. I can just go in and read and be like, oh yeah, that's dope. It's great. I'll find some money for it. Program budget template. And I made this as simple as possible because I did start out by saying it could be simple. So I just broke these down into 4 different categories. And it's just to get you thinking about your budgets. Who are your personnel? We talked about the people that you have to pay to come and make sure the event is safe and the environment is safe. What's the supplies and materials that you need? Operations. Operations be like your venue, softwares, program costs, is things that's specific to your program. So Hypnotics, we specifically need a gym because kids like to play basketball. So we need a venue with a gym. But that's just, again, it's something to empower you, to get you working through some of the things that we don't do because, but we don't do these things because we don't know how necessary they are until we start asking people for money. Then we're like, oh, I ain't done that shit. And then it gets a little intimidating. We feel stuff ain't for us. We start to convince ourselves that this is not for me because I haven't done this thing. When we really don't know how. We ain't practicing. We don't know how. That is my training. I appreciate y'all coming again. Yes, you get 20 minutes of free discovery session with me. You can go on the website, and I'll give you guys the website. That's my booking. Even my booking is free. I got the booking through Microsoft. My booking app, when you go on and you book your discovery call, your 20-minute discovery call, it's just going to connect to my Microsoft account. That discovery call, I will help you talk through, think through, execute anything we talked about today, as well as tell you more information about the services that me and Shabela is specifically talking about, how I can help if you want me to help, how I can help in that area. You get that free session, and this is yours to keep. Questions, comments, concerns? Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love it because Mitchell would likely sponsor. You get a sponsor, you get some type of gift or incentive that incentivizes you actually coming and applying yourself to the pitch. Yeah, yeah. And we right up the street from our small business center, right up the street, and they have tons of resources. So that's how your mind got to work as a non. You start think. That's how my mind works. She said venue, people, pitching. I'm like sponsors, who's gonna pay, who's gonna incentivize. I'm like, okay, Mitchell, that's when you start thinking about it that way, things become a lot more possible. It's like, okay, well, if I'm going to give a $500 gift card for the winner or $1,000 to the winner, it ain't coming out of my pocket. I'm gonna just go and work with a business to let them know what we're doing. You tell them, I already got my venue locked in. I got my venue locked in. We're just looking for the prize sponsor or the title sponsor for the winner. So to come in at this level, $1,000, what this $1,000 does is it pays for the prize that the winning pitch gets. And you will also be able to come and judge. So when you talk to the corporation, you talk to people, you say, you can come and judge. That's that goodwill. They feel like they came and they helped and they saved the world. Not only that, your donation is actually given to the winner and you get to do it. Hand them the check and take the picture and shake the hand. That's gonna, you're gonna put on your Instagram, y'all gonna put on your website, and we're gonna send a newspaper in 3 days. That's gonna make your company look like y'all love us that much. So, big oversized checks. Yes. When you're thinking that way, you should immediately go to sponsors and funders. How do I get this paid for, and who can I employ? Who can I connect with? Who can I partner with? Like, it's different when you for profit. When you for profit, it's a different type of mindset. You're thinking more so about marketing and products and manufacturing and branding, to where your customers, you're speaking the language and they continue to buy from you. But nonprofit is like, I got an idea. Let me work with, all I need is $5,000 sponsors, and I got a $20,000 event paid for. Or who are my $4,000 or $5,000 sponsors? Bank of America, they sponsor festivals all the time. Denso sponsors festivals all the time. Piedmont Healthcare, they would likely sponsor something if I want to do mental health. So it's a little different. You still got to close. You still got to walk in there and Denso. You still got to walk in there and Piedmont Healthcare, because and sell them, pitch it to them, and let them know that they're going to get their due back. But Dollar General, guys, has a foundation that does grants. Chick-fil-A has a foundation that I didn't know that. Chick-fil-A has a foundation that does. Yeah, so my computer is. Also, there's 2 slides that I didn't go. The 2 slides that I skipped is your track. It gives you a specific track you want to take if you're looking for grants. You want to make sure you have these things in order, and it gives you that track. It lays that track out. But then there's a slide after that, shows you a different track if you're looking for sponsors. Okay, and then it also gives you information on how to know which ones to go after. And it has a lot to do with your brand and your story. If your selling point is your access to your community and your numbers, you're likely looking for sponsors. If your selling point is the innovation of your program and who it reaches, then you're likely looking for grants. Okay, so we are a great grant organization. We're a great grant organization because we do summer camps, work with the kids, work with small businesses. So the programs that we do ain't never going to have big numbers, because we're working with a specific segment of people that don't come in big numbers. So we go for grants. GSM, who packs out a gym with 400 people every time they do an event, to look for sponsors, because the corporate sponsor is going to find value in their logo being in a room with 400 people who are potential customers, right? So that's just a little bit of how those slides, it break it down a little bit more, but that's the meat and potatoes of those 2 slides. I'll send those out to you. That's something I didn't do.